Friends, good afternoon. We gathered together this afternoon to celebrate the life and to honor the memory of Donna Goldstein. Donna's family so very much appreciates your presence here with them, which offers them, as you well can imagine, a great deal of comfort and support. Adonai ma'adam v'teda'ehu ben enosh v'chashvehu. O Lord, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are as a passing shadow. We come and we go like grass, which in the morning shoots up renewed, in the evening it fades and it withers. You cause us to turn to dust, saying, "Return, you mortal creatures." Would that we were wise, that we understood whither we are going. For when we die, we carry nothing away. Our glory does not accompany us. Mark the wholehearted and behold the upright. They shall have peace. The author of the first of the Bible's 150 Psalms expresses in language both poignant and succinct the nature of the good life and the fruits of that life. Happy are those who have not followed the counsel of the wicked, nor taken the path of sinners, nor joined the company of the insolent. Rather, the teaching of God is their delight, and they study that teaching day and night. They are like a tree planted beside streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, whose foliage never fades and whose fruit always flourishes. Let us join together now in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember Donna Goldstein. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember her. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember her. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember her. So long as we live, she too shall live, for she is always a part of us as we remember her. Donna Goldstein died early this past Wednesday morning at the age of 96. She lived a long and a full life, and we will miss her very much. When I met with Donna's family last evening and asked them to describe their mother and their grandmother to me, the first thing they told me, and throughout our conversation this theme reemerged over and over again, was that Donna was a thoroughly happy person. She was always smiling, always exhibiting a positive attitude about life and about other people, that Donna was content with her portion and successfully faced every challenge and surmounted every setback. Each moment was important to Donna, and she lived each of those moments to the fullest. Simple things brought her great pleasure. Sitting outside to enjoy nature, to watch the butterflies and the birds, to work in her garden, and quietly to revel in the beauty that surrounded her. Moreover, Donna did not keep her happiness to herself, but expressed it and shared it in and through all of her relationships. She loved being with others, with family, with friends, and she routinely sent cards of all kinds on all occasions to everyone she cared about. Birthday cards, anniversary cards, Valentine's, thank you notes, special occasion notes. And in this way, among all her ways, Donna lived out her contentment and her joy. And as a result of this, Donna's family is left with powerful memories of their relationships with her, memories that will continue to nourish them for the rest of your lives. Donna Goldstein may be gone from our view, but she will never be gone from our hearts. Donna Weingarten was born as an only child to Rosa and Samuel Weingarten on September 20th, 1925. She graduated from Cleveland Heights High School and matriculated at The Ohio State University, where she earned a 2-year diploma in the fields of botany and French. At the age of 15, she met the love of her life, Marvin Goldstein. And 5 years later, after Marvin had returned from the war, they were married on January 6, 1946. And thus began a 52-year marriage that ended only with Marvin's death on his 75th birthday in 1998. Donna and Marvin had, in the words of Donna's family, and I quote, "a beautiful marriage that was filled with deep love for one another," end quote, as well as a wonderful collaboration. From very early on, Donna and Marvin worked together in the business ventures that they shared. When Marvin started his concrete business, CBS Construction, Donna kept the books and made the appointments. And she was able to do this with great skill, owing to her fine math competencies. She was something of a walking calculator, I was told, and owing to her overall competency. When they opened the tobacco pouch on Main Street in Chagrin Falls, Donna and Marvin continued to work together. Evidently, Donna was able to keep track of the sales by writing the transactions on a long piece of paper, the ongoing sum of which she was able to calculate in her head. And how she loved the people she met and befriended. A life with loved ones, a life filled with friends and acquaintances, all of whom mattered so deeply to Donna. And her family told me last night how Donna would often regale them with stories. Stories about her childhood, stories about her years at Ohio State, stories about the street corners where she grew up, and about Cleveland landmarks, like the fabled Elysium skating rink. And evidently, Donna forgot nothing. Why would she, since she lived such a charmed life? Donna is survived by her daughters, Bonnie and Sandra, and her son, Craig, by her son-in-law, Kendall, and her daughter-in-law, Nancy, by her grandchildren, Melanie and Gil, Stephen, David and Bracha, Julie and Corey, Sarah and Anthony, and Anna and Christopher, and by her 20 great-grandchildren. She was predeceased by her parents, Rosa and Samuel, by her husband, Marvin, and by her son-in-law, Stuart. Donna Goldstein lived a full and happy life. She enjoyed a loving marriage, raised 3 fine children, had a myriad of lifelong enriching friends and acquaintances, and live to see and to enjoy her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. Indeed, Donna Goldstein was blessed, and in turn blessed those who knew and loved her. We will never forget her. Zichrona livracha. The memory of Donna Goldstein will always be our blessing. Amen. I now want to call on several people in order, one at a time. First of all, Donna's granddaughter, Melanie. To be followed by Brandon and then Julie.
It's difficult to condense a lifetime of memories into just a few thoughts. My grandma, Donna Marcia, she was very proud of her middle name, was amazed that an only child could be blessed with such an extensive family. Yet her life wasn't just rich with family. She cherished the time and she spent surrounded by the people she loved. I grew up enjoying weekends at my grandparents' home in Russell, wishing Sunday would never come. I would pack my bags and anxiously await for them to pick me up on their way home from work. The evenings we spent together were filled with dinners at the local restaurants, stories of their past, rides in the country, and Sunday morning breakfast in their dining room overlooking the barns. It was the cutest home, nestled in the woods, and a magical place for me to grow up. I often invited my friends to tag along, and my grandparents never said no, as they treated all my friends equally like their own. My grandmother showered the people around her with love, thoughtfulness, and kindness. She spent many Sundays entertaining family and friends at their home or taking them for rides in the country. She was grateful for everyone in her life, and she carefully nurtured the relationships she formed. She cherished the people around her and always made them feel welcome and loved. Grandma Donna was my role model. She was gentle, sincere, loyal, and selfless. She represented a pillar of strength to me and those around her. She faced obstacles and detours head on and never looked back. I found it easy to share my thoughts, my fears, and my secrets with her. She would listen carefully, she never judged, and she always supported me unconditionally. She was proud of me and always encouraged me to find the good in people and the positive in difficult situations. Her glass was always half full. She was beautiful from the inside out, carrying a smile on her face and a sparkle in her eyes. I've had the privilege of sharing my life and all the special moments in it with my grandmother. She was my friend, my cheerleader, and the one person in my life that would glow when I entered the room. She would acknowledge me as her dolly and hold open her arms as I approached. She had a way of making me feel safe, and there was never a doubt how much she loved me. Some of my fondest memories of our time together include working alongside her at Sam Klein Cigar Company and lunches at Higbee's Silver Grill, watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, her dance with Poppy at my wedding, and showing up at the hospital as soon as Madison and Brandon arrived. She never missed a beat. She was proud of Brandon's passion for ice skating and hockey, since her first date with my grandfather was at the Elysium skating rink, and was in awe of Madison's competitive swimming, since she revealed that she was scared of water. She was just a proud grandmother. Grandma often spent nights at our home chatting with Gil and watching movies on TV. She would walk in the door, greet the dogs, sit down on the sofa, look out the windows, and just take it all in. She always left her mark on the dogs with a lipstick kiss for all to see. She appreciated the invitation, and we enjoyed our time together. My grandmother was an incredible woman who lived a life to its fullest. She lived every day like it would be her last and enjoyed every moment. My son, Brandon, deemed her as our national treasure, and she really was our treasure. I will always be proud of her and grateful that she was a part of my life.
I'll be reading a piece on behalf of my grandmother, Bonnie. As I reflect on the journey my mom has taken, it seems to me that she had a very full and beautiful life. Everything I know about beauty and grace I have learned from her. Mom was always finding beauty in the world around her. She loved to experience nature, whether it was a simple drive in the country or a walk through a park. At one point, she wrote of her reverence for the trees around her. "Do not cut down that tree, for it is a friend to me. The tree gives shade and bloom and grace, so please leave it in its place." How interesting that the tree showed the way for what she would study in college and inspire her love of gardening. Her love of the natural world extended far beyond the flowers and plants. She was kind and loving towards animals big and small, the horses at the barn, the deer that crossed through the trees, and the many, many kittens and dogs. She cherished the people in her life and the relationships she had. She may have fully accounted for half the sales of American greetings in any given year, with thoughtfully written thank you cards, birthday cards, and cards of appreciation to everyone she encountered. She stayed continually active in groups playing cards, bingo, mahjong, growing close to members whom she thought the world of. Her love of all people began early in her life, growing up in University Heights as an only child, eager to make friends. To say she was doted on during this period of her life is an understatement. As she attended Ohio State during the war years, she sent her laundry home by train, and boy was she spoiled. That being said, it was during these early years of adulthood that her relationship with the man of her dreams, the one with whom she would share all things with, blossomed into a lifelong connection. There are far too many stories to tell which belong to each of us who had the pleasure of knowing her today. She spent the last 5 years of her life sharing our home with us, which was so incredibly special as I think about it now. I can still hear her shuffling feet on the kitchen floor and see her sitting on the outside deck soaking up the sun. She would watch the butterflies, the hummingbirds, with such contentment. It always put a smile on my face to know that she was truly happy with us. These past 4 months have been especially difficult as I watched her wither and grow weaker. I told myself I must see Donna every day to show her how much I love her. On Tuesday this past week, she seemed to be suffering and in pain. I whispered in her ear how much I loved her and that it was okay to close her eyes and to go be with Daddy. I then turned and said goodbye and that I loved her for the last time. I love you, Mother, best friend. I want you to always remember how much you meant to me. I know you're looking down at me now. So goodbye to you, Mother dearest. I love you so much. Yours always, Bonnie Letty.
First, I'll read my mother's words from Sandra. As I reflect on growing up as Donna Marcia Weingarten Goldstein's daughter, I am still in awe of my mother as my role model. Although I did not know as a small child to keep a diary of treasured memories, I am trying to piece together poignant thoughts about my life as a child and what I learned from my mother. She was adored and a devoted daughter of Rosa and Sam Weingarten. She rode her bike doing errands with her dog Spotty and played with her friend Doris Marshall. I believe this is where I learned about friendships, helping others, doing chores, and being kind. Mom learned many important life lessons from her parents, one of which is the value of education. They saved money to send Mom to Ohio State University, where she earned a junior college diploma in botany. Mom's interest in horticulture remained an important part of her adult life. She could identify any tree by looking at the leaf. Mom was gifted in math like her father. Her mother, Rosa, taught her about giving to others through her volunteer work. Mom was our brownie leader with our troop. selling the most Girl Scout cookies with her father's help. He asked his customers at Sam Klein Cigar Company to buy cookies. She rode the bus as a chaperone to her ice skating lessons and was a lifetime member of ORT, raising money by making baby bead bracelets that they sold. On a trip to Israel, she finally got to visit an ORT school. Her parents were lifetime members of Tiferet Israel. Mom was confirmed and attended through high school. As a child, Mom took piano lessons on her baby grand piano. She enjoyed playing for us as we marched around the living room to the music, the March of the Wooden Soldiers. Mom loved ice skating. It was her favorite sport. When she was just 15 years old, skating at the LCM Club, a handsome guy asked her to skate. This guy, her future husband, remembered that she was wearing a short red plaid skirt. They dated until Marvin enlisted in World War II. He made sure that his mother sent Donna gardenia flowers while he fought every dangerous battle. When he returned, they got engaged and married on January 6, 1946. The wedding album tells the story of a fairy tale affair at the Park Lane Villa in Cleveland. My mom's parents sent them on a honeymoon to Florida and Cuba. This romantic love affair lasted for 52 years of marriage. She always liked fun times, whether it was ice skating, horseback riding, or playing games like Mahjong cards or Scrabble. Her love of playing games is one we have shared for many years. Mom shared my love of art by going to art museums and seeing many special exhibits. We went to see Monet in the 90s at the Chicago Art Institute, including a walking tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's buildings in Oak Park, Illinois. Our many trips included Sewanee, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Illinois, New York City, San Francisco, Asheville, North Carolina, Israel, and her many trips to Charleston, South Carolina to visit me. She loved traveling to Israel to visit David and Bracha and her 6 great-grandchildren. She was up to any and every occasion. When Shimshon was 3 years old, she sat on the floor with him to roll the ball back and forth. It was delightful to watch her playing with him until she asked, "How am I going to get up?" She was 82 years old, young at the time. She was always ready for every adventure. My daughter, Julie and Corey, had my mom visit often. She spent Shabbos there, ate in their sukkah, enjoyed the busy household. Great-grandma always brought treats and gifts and loved being part of their family. There was always much activity for great-grandma to enjoy. On a trip to the University Heights Library with Shana, great-grandma Donna asked her if she would like a huge new book bag. Shana's eyes lit up and said, "Yes, it will hold so many more books." Mom had a zest for life. She always remembered friends and family with greeting cards for every occasion. Her smile lit up every room. I've learned so many things from Mom. Thank you, Mom, for being my guiding light. Your joy and love will always remain in my heart. I have been blessed with these amazing years of having a special mother. I love you always and forever. Sandra Jean. Okay, now this is, I'm speaking on behalf of my brother and Bracha and Corey and my kids. Grandma Donna was truly a beautiful person whose inner beauty was always called, She was a truly beautiful person whose inner beauty was always her simcha chachayim, happiness and love of life. She passed away on the holiday called Simchas Torah. It is referred to as the Chag Simchasenu, the holiday of being happy. How appropriate for a grandmother who lived with a love of life, happiness in life itself. She merited to pass away on such a holiday. Her greatest joy came from her love for her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. She always showed her love and concern for all of us. She remembered everyone's birthday by mailing a card. We will treasure our memories with Grandma. So many wonderful memories of a lifetime. Sharing meals, sleepovers, traveling together, going for rides in the country, listening to music, playing games, and just enjoying nature's beauty, to name a few. Grandma was the most positive person in my life. She was a person who always saw the good in every person. She never spoke of nisayons, the difficulties in life. She always spoke about her positive experiences. Grandma was down to earth and humble. Her humility and positivity, and yes, zest for life, were evident in her relationships with others. She was a tremendous role model with her relationships that she had with her husband, my papi Marvin, her children, and her parents. She always spoke of Kibbutz Avim, honoring her parents. She honored and loved her parents dearly. She truly appreciated the many sacrifices her parents made to give to her as they could. As her parents grew older and needed her help, Grandma and Papi cared for her Grandma Rosie and Grandpa Sam as much as they could. And even though I didn't know them, she always told about her relationship with her parents. We want to thank Bonnie and Ken, Mom, Craig, and Nancy for all their care and love for Grandma. When the time came, Bonnie and Ken moved Grandma to their home and tended to her daily needs, including her in every aspect of their lives. Especially these last difficult months, Aunt Bonnie and Mom devoted themselves to Grandma, making sure all of her physical and emotional needs were met at the hospital, the Wiles, and Montefiore. They, too, demonstrated tremendous Kibbutz Avim, honoring their mother. We also want to thank the staff at Montefiore, especially the nurses Sonia, Katrina, Raphael, as well as Joan Saley and Bonnie Seedham. We appreciate all you did for our grandmother. These last few months have been difficult to watch. The person I always loved lose her strength, from physically and mentally. However, even to the last day I visited her, she knew who I was, and she asked about my husband and my children. She wanted me to share her mandarin orange with her. This picture is truly a glimpse of who Grandma Donna was, a giver, always giving to others. I am grateful for every moment I was able to share with her, and anything I was able to give to her as she always gave to me and my family. We ask Mechila forgiveness to you if we did not honor you enough or cause you pain in any way. May your midos tovos, your good deeds and character carry you to a holy place in heaven. On behalf of myself, Corey, David, and Bracha, and our families, I know I can say, we will miss you. We will miss you every day and carry you, your neshama, your soul, your simcha chachayim, your joy of life, always in our hearts. We will always love you.
O God of life, amid the ceaseless tides of change which sweep away the generations, your love remains to comfort us and to give us hope. Around us are life and death, decay and renewal, the flowing rhythm that all things obey. Our life is a dance to a song that we cannot hear. Its melody courses through us for a little while, then it seems to cease. Whence the melody and whither does it go? In darkness as in light, we turn to you, the source of life and the answer to all of life's mysteries. Will you please rise now for the El Mole Rachamim? El Mole Rachamim shochen bamromim, hamtze menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina, im kadoshim utahorim kazohar harakim azhirim, et nishmat yakirenu shahachala olama. Bala Rachamim yastirea b'seder kanafav la'olamim, Yitzror bitzror hachayim et nishmata. Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava v'nomar amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Donna Goldstein, our loved one who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say together, Amen. You may be seated. I want to announce that the family of Donna Goldstein will receive friends at the residence of Bonnie and Kendall Boyce at 8323 Martingale Lane. That's in Novelty off Route 306. They will receive friends this afternoon after our interment service and until 8 o'clock this evening, and tomorrow from 1 to 3 in the afternoon and 7 to 9 in the evening. Our service now will continue at Graveside at the Riverview Cemetery. Once again, on behalf of the family, I want to extend my appreciation for your presence here with us this afternoon, which means a great deal to everyone.
Also go to the cemetery?
Yeah, sure.